I don't know. I just catch myself being in the moment every time I get to hang with the other authors and this experience when people ask me about it. I'm like, man, that's great. For real, yeah.
Yeah.
But just a little bit about myself. Um, I'm Chip Baker. I'm a fourth generation educator. I like to tell people I come from a family of church folk and educated. Yeah, come on now, the organ.
You got the whole piano going right over here.
I come from a family of church folk and educators, and I say that because I'm truly proud of that because I come from a family that I was taught to be of service. I was taught that it's bigger than you. I was taught that it's not about you. I was taught that you have to go above and beyond and do things to help others, and the big man will always see fit to take care of you, right? And so I've seen that and I've learned that throughout my life, and I'm just striving with everything I got to give that back to the world and to others. And so, started I have a YouTube channel and podcast, The Success Chronicles. Started that about 8 years ago, and what I do is I just interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. Man, about 6 years ago, started writing books, and to the date, I've written 19.
Let's go.
Been a part of 19, and so truly a blessing, man. And I think it does two things for me. It makes me be super grateful, like I talked about earlier. But the other thing is that it shows me that big things are possible, right? And it makes me hungry, right, to do more. And so that's kind of where I am now. And I'm grateful for the journey again. Thank you for having us. But if you have any particular questions, you can do that with us, or I can go around and ask questions. How you want us to do it?
Man, again, for some of y'all who don't really know who I am, my name is Boyd Christian. I am half of OM2H, which stands for One Marriage, Two Hustlers. So a couple years ago, me and my wife, we decided to open up a studio because we was helping people at our house. And so we decided to say, you know what, let's just open up a studio. That people was trying to rent our house out back in 2018. And my wife was like, we can't have nobody.
My wife was like, spin that. No.
I was down with it. But she was like,
nah, that's not going to happen.
In 2022, we decided to open up the studio, and man, this has been a blessing. We've been podcasting since 2017, and so we done met so many people on this journey of podcasting. I'm also an author. The name of my book is called Why Now Is Your Time. To know your passion, understand your purpose, and pursue your dreams. I'm big on manifesting, so if you can write it down, you can see it, you can make it happen. But I think a lot of times people want other people to see their vision. And the minute somebody else see your vision, is no longer your vision.
They took it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad when they don't see it, because I'm like, when we started opening up the studio, it was like,
what's this?
Now we got a ton of podcasts renting this place out. So it's good they didn't see it because we seen it. And as long as we seen it, that's all that matters.
I know you have an acronym for us, bro. What's the new acronym? Come on. Man, Lord known for the acronyms, man.
Listen,
on the spotlight.
I tell you guys, it's three acronyms that I speak on a lot. The first one is DNA. The D stands for your design. The N is to notice, and the A is your assignment. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own DNA. And what's crazy is nobody's DNA could be duplicated. You know what I'm saying? So when you know your assignment, nobody can stop you. So I'm kind of opposite of other people because I personally don't believe in collaboration over competition. I don't because you're not gonna work as hard as me. Now it does work. Collaboration and competition does work, but I just know my work ethic is at an all-time high, and it's hard for somebody to get on that level. The next acronym I always focus on is luck, and luck stands for labor under correct knowledge. So there's no such thing as luck. You know what I'm saying? If you do the right activity, you're going to get the results.
Let's go.
And that's for sure.
Let's go.
And the last one I focus on denial. Denial stands for don't even notice I am lying. I fix them every day. Every day that I fix them.
Man.
So I'm going to pass the ball to you.
Pass the ball to
I told y'all. I tried to tell you.
You tried to give the warning. They wasn't ready for it.
I'm an acronym person too, so I'm right there with you.
There we go.
I am too.
There we go.
Man, And you know what I want to do is just kind of maybe, I know a couple of you have talked about your chapters, but you know I want to make sure I get you a chance. But really just go around the room and throw Lord in there too.
Okay.
Just kind of hit on, you know, the Impact of Influence, Volume 7 is hold that book up.
Yeah, hold that book up.
Yeah. Overcoming adversity to make an influence. Impact of Influence, Volume 7, and you know, none of us are immune from growing through tough things.
Yes.
Right. And so, you know, what we have to do is, you know, find the blessings and the lessons, right? And then use those to be a blessing to someone else. Because you're going to come across somebody that's going to face what you've gone through. And you might see the same thing again. Right? And so
crazy how that works.
Yeah. And it's important to make sure that you learn those lessons so that the next time you move more efficiently and effectively. So what I like for, you know, each of y'all to maybe just think about, you know, an adversity that you've had to overcome, and just maybe give a tip or two on, you know, what you did to get over that adversity, just to encourage someone. So, go with you, Coach.
Sure, I'll start. My chapter is, I was telling Chip, either I just couldn't pick an adversity because there were so many, or
they coming all over the place.
I was stumped, and I'm usually not stumped. So I'm on a flight reflecting. I need to get this chapter in. I write a ton, so I knew I could pull a college all-nighter, right?
Yeah.
And I was reflecting on a conversation a coworker and I was having, and it went something like this. She said, Tamika, I don't know, I feel so bad. I don't know what you would have did. My roof started leaking, and thank God my husband was there. I just feel so bad for you because I don't know what you would have did.
Come on.
And, you know, I took it went right off my shoulder, but I didn't forget it. I kept coming back to it. And then it dawned on me. You all can see I brought my daughter, that I apparently had been going through some adversity for 8 years, but didn't consider it that. And so there's always, you know, there's someone sees a single parent, they say, oh, you know, if you can make it, you know, I know you might be tired, and so don't worry about it if you're too tired. And hadn't given any of it much thought, but it's certainly there. So it dawned on me to talk about single parenthood, which I hadn't in any of my books. My first book, I talk about redefining success. I've been an athlete to entrepreneur. I was in volume 5, and I talked about, I don't even remember, Chip. But anyway, it wasn't single parenthood. So I talked about single parenthood, and the very first thing I said was it's your mindset and how you see things, how you see this perceived adversity has a lot to do with how you attack it.
Right.
So for me, once I realized this is going to be a solo mission, I adopted a no excuse mindset. It's me versus me. And so that's the advice I give to people when they are facing some adversity. It's all about your mindset. That's going to be very important. It's the whole way.
Yeah.
And then you got to adopt a no excuse mentality if you want to get through this thing, because sometimes it's not your fault, but it's your problem to fix. And it's really hard to accept that, because sometimes someone else or something has caused this adversity for you, like some of the actions of our parents and different things. So that's just my advice: have a no excuse mentality, and it's not easy, but that is the best place I can tell people to start is just accept it and have no excuses, and then go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
How about you?
So, So I started writing during the pandemic. My one of my sorority sisters has a boutique publishing company, Spark Publishing. Shout out to my line sister, Dr. Kimberly Ellison. But the Lord, I always pray about it. So I was like, Lord, am I supposed to be in this project? So we did a devotional, 130 women across the globe, like all over the world. And so then we did another affirmations book, and then I did another devotional. And so around that time, so I go back, I'm painting a picture. So in the devotional, I talked about my first adversity. So first of all, I'm born from teenage parents. in a small area, like I said, Robertson County. If anybody know anything about Robertson County, it was very much prejudice, especially in 79 when I was born in the 80s. So that was the first thing, because the people already counted me out. I'm born from a 17-year-old mother, but my grandparents stood in the gap and let her. She graduated and she did go to Prairie View. Now she didn't stay; that was on her, but they gave her those opportunities because we take care of our own. Then at the age of 6, I lost my brother in front of me to a drunk driver in Calvert, Texas, down the same street. I have to go down today because my family still live on this street. And so it's the thing about this is, like Tamika was saying, it's a mindset thing, because you can just go in and do anything. They'll justify it. Like you were saying, they'll just, she lost a brother, so that's probably why she out there doing this and drinking and doing it or whatever. People will enable you, but if you don't have the right mindset to keep pushing, then you just gonna live up to what they think you are going to be. So in volume 5, Impact and Influence, just after my mom had just passed, and I was like, what is the biggest thing that impacted me right now? And it was grief. And so it was a culmination of 36 years of grief that I hadn't really dealt with, because I just kept moving. Like they know I'll do a lot of stuff. I keep moving. But when my mama passed, I just had to sit there in it, because it was just like that. Yeah. And the thing about it is, it happened the same way. My brother was killed in a vehicular accident. My mama was killed in a vehicular accident, and she was just riding her bike, doing what she did because she had just turned 60. It's a whole lot. So we get to volume 7. Chip come out and say, okay, I'm reading this. What are we talking about? We talking about adversity. I said, seeing past the city limits, manifesting my destiny. So that's my chapter. Seeing past the city limits, manifesting my destiny. Because if I didn't believe in what God had put in me, because the vision is ours, it's not a conference call. That's what I tell people. So if the Lord told me something, he didn't tell you, he told me. So you can't tell me what I am and am not going to do. And matter of fact, when you say I can't do it, I'm going to do it at the top level. Hey. That part. There you go. So talking about that, just some people that God put in my life. I talk about my best friend, Nikki, and her family. I talk about my coach. But if the Lord didn't put these people in my life to help me understand who I was, not only in myself, but in him, then I don't know where I would be. And so that's why I'm always giving God the glory. I gave my life to Christ at 7. I didn't have no therapy. I had to go to church. Yeah. And so, we ain't have no money for no therapy. Right. So you go to church and you go. I went to school like a month later, because you have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. Yeah. And so we talk about acronyms. And my thing that God gave me at the end of 2018, 2019 is when. Your works intentionality never stops. So you got to put in the work, because faith without works is dead. You got to be intentional about it. You can't stop, won't stop. So even when people try to enable you and make excuses for you, you got to shake yourself out and walk it like you talk it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's just a little bit of, to me, chop, as they say. Let's go chop.
Chop. Chris, what about you, man? Any encouraging words to help listeners, viewers overcome adversity?
Oh man, most definitely. Man, I'm over here listening to everybody else, and I'm like, let's go. Like we're getting ready to go through a football tournament just run out. But one thing, like, I got to set off like this is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, because we all know that life is going to face us so many adversities. I commend you for like overcoming that, because death is never easy. And then we're going to face even more challenges in the future, financials and much more. But I'm going to piggyback on what a lot of people said and tie it back to what my message as well is. First off, let's go on perspective. If you believe you're defeated, you're defeated. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I got to say it again, because a lot of times that goes over a lot of people's head. If you way in the back, just way in the back. If you believe you're defeated, you're defeated. So why be your worst enemy? Why be your worst enemy when you have a lot of people who don't even have your vision and accept that defeat? It's up to you for you to change your own perspective. It's like, you got to remember, you were given the gift of life, and you got to realize how rare that is. Amen. It is very rare. You have the ultimate opportunity to leave a legacy, live your life, make an impact to others, and do something with it. So why not cherish this gift and make something of it? And if you change your perspective, that I do have a purpose. I'm here for a reason, and I have a vision, and there's nothing going to stop me. Why not have that perspective and push through it? Now, of course, you're going to have your walls, your turbulence, and much more. But going back to the perspective, if you don't look at it as, let's just say, something that's going to knock me down or a wall that's holding me back, but more look at it like, oh, this is something of a wall to build me stronger, to break it down. Or this turbulence is to strengthen me, to make me have even more endurance to overdo. Or make me have the heart of forgiveness so somebody else can learn how to forgive. There's so many stories that's going on in adversities that someone needs to hear your voice. And when I hear people, and I even reflect in my own life, it's like, there's a reason why I'm still here, because I could have been taken out a long time ago. I've been given many opportunities, driving to Houston, I can get ran over. I can been at the wrong place at the wrong time, especially as we travel about. But I know that I'm here and everybody else is here for a reason. So why not change your perspective to something positive, empowering, and change the motive that you have a purpose to do something and make an impact, overcome the adversities. Just like Martin Luther King had a dream. You had a dream, and everybody else has a dream. And so many people are stuck in slumber. It's like they're here in reality, but they're not walking to reality. It's one thing to say you're alive, but it's one other thing to live. And I think people really need to understand it. So as you overcome your adversities, remember all these things and change your perspective and learn how to live, because that's how we can progress things and go so much further. And tying it back to my own chapter is looking yourself in the mirror and saying, like, I'm just like you, and you.
Yeah.
But the main thing is I did not give up.
Yeah.
I did not give up. I use this as a stepping stool or a throttle to get me to where I need to be. And with that mindset and determination, anything is possible.
Wow. That's powerful, bro. I got to get some on that.
Yeah, before we move on, because the spirit didn't hit me when he said that, be grateful for life. Yep. And I just think about that. My mom was 16 when she got pregnant with me, 17 when she had me. And her parents my grandparents could have made her get an abortion, and she couldn't have done nothing about it because she was a minor. But God, like, you know what Jeremiah 29:11 says? Yeah. I know the plans I have for you. So the thing about it is we got to be grateful for life. And before I get up every morning, my feet don't touch the ground before I start praying and thanking the Lord for life. So the Spirit just hit me with that. I had to share it real quick. Because when the Holy Spirit tell me to say something, I'm going to say it.
You got to say it. On it, Pop.
Man.
All right, Darius, what about you, man? Just overcoming adversity.
Man, as I sit here, man, and as an individual, but we sit here as a collective, one thing come to mind. I have to piggyback and echo the same, Chris. Great gratitude. Like Sis Chop, Sis T saying, everybody's saying it. Chris, being grateful. For me, I've learned how to, and I'll share with you in hopes that it'll help you as well. But for me, as my chapter is titled Press, I was sharing with my brothers and sisters before we even got on the pod. I was like, just yesterday, I went through some adversity, right? And it was scary for me. And so, and going through something like Brother Chip and I like to say, we have an opportunity to grow through it. And with this chapter being titled Press, when we press through the test, right, it enables us to stretch. And what I mean by that is this: God will never, ever place our prayers answered next to us or behind us. Right? So he'll put them in front of us.
Come on now.
So when we press through the test, we'll be able to stretch and then receive what it is that he's already placed out there.
Yeah.
Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it simple? It is. We want to do it every single time? No. Easier said than done? No. Absolutely. I promise you, right? Because at this given time, whomever is watching this, you're in a dark place. You're in a place of uncertainty. You're in a place of contrast. That's what we're here for. The chapters in this book isn't just a good read. There are organic transparencies that are there to, like Brother Chris said, to be the bridges, the ladders, and the step stools to help you out of whatever it is that you're in right now. You're going to develop something because of that. The pain is merely an indicator expressing who we are, where we are, and who it is that we are to become. And without that, then we will not get, right? We will not get to the promises that were made. Everybody, not everyone, but most people say, I have faith, I prayed. Well, faith is an action word.
Come on now.
Right? And so we can't just have faith, but we have to have now faith. And the now part means activate it. Activate it right now. Right? Why now is your time? Activate your faith right now. Right? So in order for us to receive what it is that God has placed for us, we have to have now faith and get to where it is that he's promised us to be. Darius, how do we do that? How do we do that when we're going through it? Our lights are off, the car note is behind, I'm about to get evicted, my spouse and I, my child and I, my boss and I, my employee and I'm going through it right now. Drop the AL. What does that mean, Darius? Well, when we put the letters AL at the end of the word emotion, we become emotional, right? When we become emotional, we voluntarily lose control. Voluntarily. But when we remove the letters AL or we don't even place them at all, we gain control. We keep control. The difference between the two. The AL enables us to react. Man, I wasn't even thinking when I did that. They're right. They lost control. AL behavior. Remove the AL, it allows us to respond. Now we can think about it. Now we can look at it differently. Now we can analyze and dissect. Now we can move more efficiently, effectively, meaningfully, intentionally. Darius, I know it's not easy, but who's dependent on you? Your reason, your why, and your purpose. I add it to every single thing that I do every single day. Chop said, her feet does not hit the floor until she say her prayers. I'm the same way. I thank God for giving me his life. Like me and Brother Law like to say, living in faith every day. I thank God for giving me the gift of life. And then I ask him what he want me to do with it. Because the manna that he gave me yesterday isn't good for today. I don't care how great it was. I was the greatest husband yesterday. I better be even better today. I was the most phenomenal brother and husband yesterday. And daddy yesterday. I better be an even better, whatever that was today. Because that was manna for yesterday. What's happening now? Right? So when I let go of Darius' will, this is how we push through. This is how we press through the test, which enables us to stretch. I yielded my will. It's simple. Easy? No. Simple. I yielded my will. Then what did you do after that, son? I accepted God's will as my way. That's it.
That's it.
When God said he prepared a place for us, why do I need to go and set the table? I just need to clean up what he said. Gratitude. Reciprocity. Giving back more than we receive. He gave it. He said, I prepared it. I ain't clean it up, but I prepared it for you. So when we eat, break bread, and drink, whatever that thirst is, let us wash the dishes. Let us clean up behind ourselves. And let us now take that example and go prepare a place for someone else. Even that someone that's living inside of us whom we not yet met. Because that 47-year-old Darius that'll be here in July, this 46th version of me is preparing a place for him. So when we know that we have a reason, a why, and a purpose in anything, the simplicity of it and the ease of it parallels. And we become unconditional and we get it done no matter what.
It's good, man. It's so good, man. Lloyd, what about you, man?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, there's so many adversities that I have faced. But I started my brand Why Now Is Your Time years ago. Matter of fact, it was in 1999. I started my brand. I had this vision, and Why Now Is Your Time is built on 3 principles, which is life, brand, and legacy. Mm-hmm. I teach people how to design their life, create their brand, and leave their legacy. And so when I first started that vision, it really hit me because then I started thinking like, man, y'all heard the acronym of WHY, huh?
What's
WHY. So the acronym of why is what's hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's hurting you is what's going to fuel you.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up without a father, my mom dying at the age of 50 from cancer. These are things that have hit me to make me a bigger, better, stronger person. So I try my best to feed back into the next generation of young men. But then you can kind of see the hurt in them. But a lot of them don't want help.
Yeah.
And it's you don't really want to turn them down, but it's like sometimes guys say, hey, step back and let them bump their head, they'll come back to you. You know what I'm saying? And my biggest thing is when we wake up every day, like you said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing I say, document your moments so you'll never create content.
Mm-hmm.
So the world can remember you at the end of this journey. So every day we got 60,000 thoughts, and most of them are negative.
Yep.
And so every day we waking up, it's good for us to say, hey, you know what? Today I'm going to document these moments so that a year, 2 years from now, that's why when y'all see Facebook remind you, you're like, oh, I post that picture. You know, like those stuff like that. So imagine every day if you record 3 to 5 minutes of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I look at your year as the chapter of your life.
Yeah.
So however old you are, that's the chapter. Okay, the pages in the book are the days.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think every single day you have these moments that you must capitalize on because they're gonna come back and remind you like, man, I remember that. Mm-hmm. People say, I ask people like, what do you guys go back and tell? What would you go tell your old self if you could to make today look different? Mm-hmm. And I always tell myself like, man, if I could have did this, but God always say, hold on, you need to go through what I had you go through. So now the 44-year-old you, is different.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, man. So many great gems. I think just briefly on adversity, I think our biggest blessings come from our biggest lessons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of the times, we may think that this may be the toughest thing that's ever happened for us in our life.
It's
right?
not.
And it could be.
At that moment.
Right. At that moment, yeah. But on the other side of that adversity will come your maximum growth.
Yeah.
Right. And so what you have to do is, there's two things that I believe, and I write about this in the chapter, grow through your adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And everybody has said it. Right. The first thing is, okay, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I grateful for?
Yeah.
Right. Like, regardless of however tough it is, just take a deep breath and yes, I don't have this, but it's a whole lot of people that don't even have what I have.
Right. Ooh.
Like, yes, man, this is a bad situation that I'm in, but man, could be way worse. Right. So what are you grateful for? Right. So then once you figure that out, okay, then the next piece is, what am I learning from this?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think when you can put those two things together and then put those together with the work to do the rehab to get you where you want to be, oh man, watch out.
Game time.
Oh man.
And the lessons in the losses though.
Oh
So
man.
the lessons are always in the losses, and sometimes, because God showed me a vision one time, it's like, there's no way that I can build that stepping stone until you take that loss so that you can personally go put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
And it's not a failure unless you make the fail yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
good.
Right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And so when you take the ownership, you have to take ownership.
Yes.
Right? And most times in our life, the toughest ship to navigate is ownership.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so we have to look at ourselves and take ownership in, what is my part in this?
Mm-hmm.
You may not even, like Coach said, you may not even have any part in it.
Yeah.
You may be in a place in a situation, but whatever it is, I'm gonna play the cards that I was dealt.
Yes.
And I'm gonna play them, man.
Mhm.
Let's go. What'd you have, Chris?
man, I had to plug this in, but like when I was listening to both of y'all, the athletes that immediately hit my mind was Jordan. Just imagine if he made his high school basketball team, but he got cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the amount of hours he went through practicing over and over again. And then let's not forget his first few years in the league. He didn't immediately become like MVP, all these finals, and all. He got knocked out the playoffs. So it's like these defeats actually mold you to get you stronger. So
It's good, man.
But
So
I'm a
good.
big John Maxwell person, and he has a book called Fail Forward. And so when I was first coaching my teachers, when I came out the classroom and started coaching teachers, because I said if I coach them and they have 30, 100 students, then I'm making more of an impact. So that's why I left the classroom. So one of the first things I found is FAIL. The acronym for FAIL is first attempt in learning.
mm,
So you can't learn just sitting on the sideline. You got to get in the game. And sometimes when you're in the game, there are going to be failures. But if you fail forward, and like you said, take those L's as lessons, and those lessons are going to become your blessings. Because again, whatever the enemy is, the enemy can be a person, the enemy can be a thing, and then a situation. And I always go back to Psalm 23:5, thou preparest a table before me in the presence.
Yeah.
The Lord said they're going to be there in the presence of my enemies. I was doing my head with all my cup running over. So no matter what's going to happen, when we look at it as a failure or not, we got to fail forward. And we got to know that even those situations, those adversities, those people, whoever it is, those haters, whatever we want to call them, there's a plan. That's all part of God's divine plan.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm thinking of too is like as I hear all this, I think one thing we need to bring light to is like a lot of this comes around fear. Fear of like stepping onto the course, fear of stepping into like fatherhood, fear of like stepping forward into whatever you want to do in life. And a lot of that, the more I think even at this moment now is like, starts with you. Like you either been told or you believe that the fear is more powerful than your actual ability to overcome.
Well, she said earlier, mindset.
You
Mindset
know,
is everything.
If you don't mind,
You can get in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in your own way. Because
that's the worst thing.
You start telling other people your vision, and then those people start dropping these seeds in you, and those seeds gonna start to grow. For instance, say we had a glass. All right, the glass represents your body. God give you a dime. The dime represents. Drop the dime on the bottom of the glass. The dime represents the vision. Now we take that same and we take some water, and God, this is all the good information I'm giving you. Oh, you're filling up your cup. But then this person come with a teaspoon of Coke. And they say, hey, I don't know if that's going to work. So now that dime that was clear, what happens to it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's starting to get, somebody else come. Hey, I wouldn't do that if I was you. It's a teaspoon. You know what I mean? And what happens is you like, oh, you know it, your vision that was totally clear, you can't see nothing.
It's got clouded.
Looking like mud.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So God said, no, guess what? You got to empty that whole thing out to start over. So that's the mindset that
I think that's also why it's important to like have moments to yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, because like I think we're so used to always being helped or having someone there, which is all good. But I think there's a lot of power in having moments to yourself. It eliminates other people to pretty much cloud your vision.
Yes.
And I know of times can be fearful, but it kind of reminds what I was writing about too, like facing reflection, is that moments of yourself allows you to see within yourself what you really need to do and just ignore all the noise. And once you get to that point, you really can start moving forward because there's a lot of noise out there, y'all.
But you know what? When you're with yourself, you're with your physical self, but you're also with your physical self. I mean, your spiritual self. So you're really not by yourself. So because God created us for relationship, first of all with him, I always do this first of all with him, second of all with everybody else. Yeah. And if this is out of order, this is always going to be out of order because we are physical beings. Spiritual beings live in a physical human experience. And so those moments of solace gives us the opportunity to be with our spiritual self. Our physical self gets the opportunity to be with our physical self. And like you said, you get to block out the noise because if all of this is coming in, you can't tap into what your spirit is telling you to do. And me being a believer, what the Holy Spirit in me is telling me to do.
That's deep,
so when you said that just made me think about that.
That's deep though. I'm like you, sis. I'm a believer. Like I said, I'm a kingdom man first. And Brother Lord was saying, all it takes is a little drop to cloudy up the whole cup. But I immediately heard all it takes is the faith the size of a mustard seed.
Yes.
Right? When I heard Brother Chris say, fear hold us back at times, I reminded myself that God didn't even give us that spirit. So why is it even here? So I know that's a lie. So it's us and not you, Brother Chris. I'm saying when that thought comes to me, I tell Darius, that's a lie, bro. You afraid of what? You are the son of the Most High. May I remind you that. So when we find the Coca-Cola being poured in a clear glass, when we find the anchors of fear, we know that's an illusion. Because fear is false what? Expressions appearing real, right? And opinions, sis said, people may have them, but they're not our reality. So why are we framing them as such? Right? So when we can go through life as the word speaks, the truth speaks, then we will experience even the contrast that was promised to us. We'll experience all of that and get through the other side. We'll get through the other side. No matter what we're faced with, our inner David will always be there. He's prepared us with the lions and the bears. So we may come with a weapon that's unfamiliar to a battle and be laughed at. Oh, girl, I don't know what you would do if your roof, your inner David coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to travel down the same street, inner David coming out. Oh, there's a lot of reasons you shouldn't be here. Contrast. My mom and my brother, mom died. Contrast. He prepared me when I was 15, when my daddy died. I was only 15 years old. He was 41, colon cancer. I was ready for my mom. How were you ready for your mom? God gave me his daughter first for 40 plus years. Gratitude helped me overcome it. I had a mama to go to when my dad died. Gratitude. I had a big brother to go to and raise me. Gratitude. My daddy was here for 15. Now I'm the daddy to my children because the dad that I had to me. Gratitude. David and Goliath. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Come on, Goliath. Every time I see that big boy, I know God about to take me to the next dimension. If I can have now faith the size of a mustard seed, I'ma holler at y'all. I'm gone. I'm not staying here. I've been through too much to stand right here. And so have we all. It's no problem. There's nothing wrong with having a string at the end of your balloon. It's time for you to helium up. It's time for you to elevate. So conquer that Goliath and take his sword. Remove his head. Hold it over yours and remind the world of who you are and who you are. And you too will see that. You too will see it for yourself. You can do all things through Christ, who strengthens you. Each and every one of us on this panel and all of our viewing audience, we all have that ability. So let's exercise that no matter what.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about impact, and a prayer comes to mind when I was a youth growing up in church, and you hear the elders praying, and they say, "Use me, Lord, I want you to use me."
Yeah.
And I was listening, scrolling Instagram, and Lauryn Hill had a quote, and it said, "In order to be used, you gotta get used."
Come on.
And I thought about it. I had a pattern of, on some jobs, I always felt like I was doing more than my job, and I mean, it would go unchecked for so long. I'm like, am I being used? And it dawned on me, you want to be used, you got to be used. And that totally changed my mindset. But there's that human and flesh and that ego part of you is like, nah, listen, I'm not
give me some of your paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, we changing some things here, but you got to be used, and you got to make the choice to, that how you respond to this perceived being used is where the impact's gonna come in. So people are paying attention to, what you're paying attention to. So check the use part. I'm gonna lock in on that. I'm gonna get opportunity to show somebody how it's done, or to rise above what's probably something maybe a little shady, or so. That has stuck with me when I felt like, gosh, we agreed to a project. I did 90% of the work. We planned this event.
Like I created that presentation that you got your name on.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Which is good though. I think we all gotta embrace that.
Yeah.
you got to kind of embrace, like, you know, I believe in Jesus Christ, and to know what he went through,
Yeah, yeah. Come on, Lord.
I'm willing to go through.
Come on, let's go.
But the problem is, people not. We're in this generation of people who like, I want success right now, and I'm like, I deal with a lot of clients, you know what I'm saying, and people, they want this right now success, but you got $5 worth of information, but you're trying to get a million.
Oh, come on, not
It's not working out for you because but then you want to turn up, and it's like, I'm like, no, get the knowledge, do the work, get better, and then you're gonna see results. People in basically you in rush to go the wrong way.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Gonna bump heads. Gonna bump heads.
Hey,
Boom.
hey, let me say something to that right quick, brother Chip. You said people at the $5 spot trying to get to the $1 million. They'll never get there. They'll never get there because you have to maximize that $5 spot. Like you're there for a reason. If you can't millionaire the $5 spot, you'll never be able to millionaire the millionaire spot. He said, with little, we should be obedient in that spot. So you're in that spot with the $5 folk. Maximize that spot for them and self. And I promise you, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond will come along.
That's why a lot of people like win the lottery go broke because they ain't ready.
They don't. They're
not ready.
Have the
Mindset's not there.
There it is.
And I think people don't like your experience, like how long you've been doing what you're doing. Like your experience, people don't take that into like gratitude of like, man, like I meet 22, 23, 24-year-old young men. I'm like, bro, I'm 44. So I get where you at. I'm like, I'm almost double your age.
Yeah.
So I get where you at, brother. So, you know, it's good to, but, you know, I understand, but I'm just trying to lead in the right way.
Yep.
Type and swipe nation. That's what I'm doing. Type and swipe nation.
Not type and swipe nation.
That's all they do. And so you got to teach them other ways.
Yep, put it in the
Teach them
oven.
other ways.
Let it marinate.
Because you don't want that, you know, that craft in the microwave will do for that moment. But you want that grandma. You want that oven.
You know, grandma take time.
I'll take it.
Slowing that thing down.
Yeah,
You get fed on the microwave stuff, but it ain't gonna be as hearty. And
But you ain't gonna get full like grandma's. That came from the soul.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to give everybody opportunity to go around and share with the audience where they can follow you, check you out, show you some love. But we'll go back.